Now, Israel's army is warning Gazans to evacuate the al-Shifa hospital as it carries out an operation there. The Hamas-run Palestinian Health Authority says several people have been killed and part of the complex is on fire. Israel released these images of the raid. The army claims Hamas militants fired at them from the hospital and that Hamas is using al-Shifa as a command centre. It's the biggest and one of the last remaining health facilities in the Strip. Gazans have sought shelter from the war at al-Shifa after the Hamas-led October the 7th terror attacks. Let's get more now from DW's Tanya Kremer, who's in Jerusalem. Tanya, can you give us the latest on this operation, military operation at the al-Shifa hospital in Gaza?
Well, from what we understand here, we are of course not on the ground, is that the military operation is still ongoing. This is, as you said, in al-Shifa hospital, which is in the center of Gaza City. It's another raid on this hospital, and we understand that also from eyewitnesses' accounts that there's also fighting going on in the vicinity to the hospital, and that people in the neighborhood, but also those sheltering in the hospital, on the hospital grounds, have been asked to evacuate. And as you said, the Israeli army started this raid early in the morning, saying that they have intelligence that senior Hamas terrorists, as they put it, were inside the hospitals. There were shots fired at the troops operating there. And that basically many arrests have been also made until now. Now, this is another time that this hospital has been raided. The first time was in November. And of course, people have sought shelter in hospitals such as the Shifa hospital, as hospitals are seen as protected space according to international law.
And the people who are sheltering there, I mean, is there any way for them to get out?
Well, there are a bit of conflicting reports what we are hearing. I mean, on the one hand, there's a statement that came out early in the morning by the army saying they had cautioned the troops operating there not to harm or to avoid any harm to the medical staff, to patients that are inside the hospital. But we are also hearing from eyewitnesses there that leaflets had been dropped in the area, in the neighborhood of Rimal, and also to those sheltering on the hospital grounds, that they should leave and evacuate to southern Gaza, to the area of Mawasi, that is on the coast in near Rafah. So, of course, it's a bit difficult now to understand how this evacuation of people will work. Is there a safe corridor? Also, we have to understand these people have been there. It's a very difficult area in northern Gaza. We've been talking about it. Supplies have not reached the area very frequently, so people would have to see how they would get transport. So all of this is still to see how this will unfold, but it's certainly devastating for those people who have stayed in the neighborhood now to be told to evacuate once again.
Tanya Kremer reporting from Jerusalem. Tanya, thank you so much.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has shared his concerns about the high number of civilian casualties in Gaza in a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. More aid is now entering the Gaza Strip, where conditions remain extremely dire.
Airdrops into Gaza continue. Jordan, Germany and the US dropped goods in an attempt to relieve the humanitarian situation on the ground. There are growing fears that Israel will soon extend its ground offensive to Rafah, where hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians have sought refuge. Aid agencies warn that parts of Gaza already face famine. Meanwhile, after a visit to Jordan, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz arrived in Israel. There, he once more stressed Germany's support for Israel, while urging to keep civilians in Gaza safe from the looming ground offensive.
We cannot stand by and watch Palestinians risk starvation. That's not us. That is not what we stand for together. Much more humanitarian aid is needed continuously, reliably. I shared my concerns with the Prime Minister that provision of aid from Israel into Gaza and the conditions for distribution must be urgently and massively improved.
Earlier on Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doubled down that the ground offensive will soon be extended to Rafah.
Our goal in eliminating the remaining terrorist battalions in Rafah goes hand in hand with enabling the civilian population to leave Rafah. It's not something that we will do while keeping the population locked in place. In fact, we'll do the very opposite. We'll enable them to leave because our consideration for reducing and minimizing civilian casualties has guided us and will continue to guide us in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's estimated that 1.5 million people are currently in Rafah, which is more than half of Gaza's population. But Netanyahu and Scholz didn't specify where all these people should go before Israel's ground offensive expands into the overcrowded city.